Hi, we are Liselott and
Hans
from Stockholm, Sweden, and we love to cruise.
This spring we took a cruise in the Mediterranean and the ship was leaving port from Trieste, so we flew into Trieste.
And from Trieste airport it was really easy to take the train into the city center, and it only took
About an hour.
an hour, but it should supposed to take even shorter. But,
There was some railway work going on.
yes, and concerning Trieste, we stayed at a very nice hotel, very central. And Trieste, it's a really nice city, not so big, so it was easy to do most of the things by walking to them. So we actually we walked a lot of steps during the day. We were there the whole day, and the only thing we needed to use a public transport to was the Miramare Castle. That was a little bit further out, so that was perhaps it was walkable, but we thought it was great to take the bus.
And the city center is quite flat, so it's easy to walk there, but if you would like to get a view, you could climb into some of the hills around the center, and you get a very nice view over all the nice buildings in Trieste.
And a lot of nice restaurants, cafes, and not as crowded as I suppose you will find it in Venice. We've been visiting Venice before, so we didn't feel that we had to go there this time. Concerning the embarkation, the terminal where we were supposed to embark was very central, so we could walk there from the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And when we arrived there, it was very easy to get rid of the luggage. That was taken care of very fast. And
there was a little bit lack of experience. This was the second cruise ship that they were handling, so they were not very used to the amount of people, and they have several checkpoints and controls that we need to pass to get into the real check-in area.
And they had already been running a little bit late of disembarking the previous cruise, so they were already a little bit late from the start. And the only, even if it was chaotic, everything worked quite good until they said that our COVID tests were too old.
Regarding the COVID test, it was stated that it should be taken 72 hours prior to the embarkation.
On the NCL webpage,
yes,
that it says 72 hours.
And we did that and had the proper documents with us. But when we came there, they said that it should not be 72, but 48 hours. And we were placed in a special group that need to be rechecked.
But and we wasn't alone. There was a lot of people that were placed in that group. And after arguing a little bit with a more senior person at the staff, we convinced them that they were wrong and we were right, so they let us through. And then we went to the check-in desk, and they had a priority for platinum and over, so that was good.
And when we came to that point, the check-in was quite easy and smooth.
It was really great to be on a cruise ship again after this long time during the pandemic. And we started with go to the muster station, and that was really fast. A couple of minutes and then we were ready. And then we went to the atrium bar and sat down and relaxed for a bit and had our first drinks on the ship.
The cabins were ready at 1 p.m, so we went to our cabin and installed ourselves. We have been upgraded from an outside cabin to a cabin with a balcony, which we enjoyed very much.
Concerning the restaurants on the ship, really enjoyed most of them. And for breakfast, you preferred to eat in the garden cafe.
Yeah, I thought the garden cafe offered a huge flexibility. You could choose different things.
But we actually tried the Grand Pacific a couple of mornings as well, and that was also good. But, concerning lunch, we used the Garden Café most of the lunches, but we had lunch at the Oceans a couple of times as well, and both options are really good. Concerning dinner, we had dinner in the Grand Pacific, which is complimentary quite a lot of times, and we really enjoyed it. We even had our favorite table that we usually ask for. And what about the specialty restaurants?
Yeah. Regarding the specialty restaurants, we went to Le Bistro, Moderno and Cagnes. And out of those, which were all excellent, our favorite became the Cagnes.
Where we actually had dinner twice during our cruise. Our favorite bars on the ship was the Atrium Bar, where we spent quite a lot of time with good drinks and nice to just sit down and good entertainment and watch people.
Another favorite was Oceans, where it was possible to get a proper Irish coffee.
And we also loved the Sugarcane Mojito Bar, where Davy was the bartender that made excellent drinks. And last but not least was the Magnum's Champagne Bar.
And in that bar they had quite good entertainment, which we can enjoy during the drinks.
The entertainment on the ship was really good.
Yeah, and on this cruise we were hosted by the cruise director Jake, who came from England and had a nice English humor. We also went to see a lot of the shows, most of them in fact, at the Stardust Theatre.
And our favorite band on the ship was B12, that we tried to follow wherever they were, up at the poolside or in the atrium or wherever. We visited 5 ports on this trip, and the first one was Kotor.
Yes, and it was a very scenic approach to Kotor, in very narrow straits, and it took several hours to get into the harbor.
A great idea is to have lunch in the great outdoor, when you can sit and admire the great views.
When we got to Kotor, we were tended into the town, and the city itself has a town wall, and it's inside the town wall everything's happened. It's a lot of cats in that town.
Next stop was Corfu, where we docked, and there was shuttle buses that took you from the pier to the terminal, but it only took a couple of minutes to walk. But after you left the terminal, we took a public bus to the old town.
And the bus ride took about 20 minutes. And in the old town we had the intention to visit the new fortress. Unlucky, we were there on a Tuesday, on which the fortress was closed.
So instead we walked around for a bit, and then we decided to go to the old fortress, which was open, and the entrance fee was €6 per person. And it was a very warm day, so we started with some cold drinks in a cafe before we climbed up to the
lighthouse. The old fortress is situated at the southern part of the city, and getting up to the lighthouse you are offered a very nice view all over the city of Kotor.
Next port was Santorini, which we really had been looking forward to, and that was also a tender port.
Yes, and on that port we took an NCL excursion tour.
Called the charming Oya village, and the tender boats, if you are on an excursion, the tender boats go to the old port where the buses are waiting for you. And we started with a bus ride to Oya, and the guide was really good.
Yes, we learned a lot of the island during the bus trip, and the bus journey took about 45 minutes to get to Oya.
And in Oya we had free time, so we ran around to find all the nice photo spots, because yeah, as you all know, it's these blue domes churches that everyone wants to photograph. And then we went back to the bus.
Yes, and the bus took us back to the town of
Fira.
Fira.
And we got the tickets for the cable car, and had as much free time as we liked, because it was our own responsibility to take the cable car down to the tender boats and go back on the ship. The next port was Mykonos, and here we were docked, and there was a free shuttle bus. We were supposed to take the sea bus, but when we came out from the gates to the terminal, there was a free shuttle bus that took you to the old port, and then it was just a few minutes walk into the city center of the old town.
When you came into the city center, it's very narrow alleys and lanes, so it was very good, as we did, to be there early before it was too crowded.
And of course we went and saw the windmills that are, I suppose, the most favorite spot in Mykonos. Our last stop was in Zadar in Croatia, and we were docked in a more industrial port, a little bit outside the city center, and they offered a shuttle bus, but it was not free. It was 20 euros per person. And when we got to the city center, we just walked around and had a look on everything nice around.
Yeah. Today the local currency in Croatia is kuna, but next year they will change into euro, which will make the visit even easier. On the day of disembarkation, you could choose to have your breakfast either in the buffet restaurant or in the Great Pacific. You had to leave your cabin by 8.
And you had to leave the ship at 9, which was, as usually, very sad.
In total, we were very happy with this cruise. It was just 1,090 passengers on board, so there was not any need to pre-book any restaurants or things like that.
And plenty of room everywhere. And concerning the ports, we did most of them by yourself, and that's really easy to do. So it's your choice to make an excursion or do it by yourself, but everything is doable. And we really enjoyed the cruise, and the crew was really fabulous. We had a great time, and they were really very supportive and fun to talk to.